Hey, welcome everybody to Mind the Mind. This is Randy Gonzales Jr. and we've got a special guest here today. So first of all, happy New Year. Once again, we're bringing you back. All month we're going to say Happy New Year. So it doesn't matter because it's a new year, new decade, new things that can really enable you guys to get from where you're at to where you dream to be. So many of you guys I know had such an amazing blast off to the year. I saw so many of you guys post some amazing things that really started to catapult where you're going. A lot of you put out your visions, your ideas, your strategies, your defining moments, so to speak. And I'm so proud of many of you guys. Some of you guys actually shared it with me on a direct message that said, "Hey, Randy, here's some of my goals." So awesome. We are going to get into it. We are approaching the third week of January. So this month is pretty much almost complete. So without further ado, I'm actually going to bring on one of our marketing directors here. His name is Steven Ryan Ramirez. So he's actually the mind behind a lot of what we do as far as marketing and all the companies that we bring on. So sometimes people that want to grow their business or their organization or whatnot, they're looking for different strategies and ideas that can help them get to their next level. So first of all, thank you, Steven, for actually coming on Mind the Mind, brother.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, totally. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So if somebody's starting their business in 2020 versus 10 years ago, 2009, which the economy was like a big halt, what do you think the biggest difference for somebody that's looking to grow their business, especially in getting out of obscurity, going online?
Exactly that. What you said is just being online. The ability for us to do what we couldn't do before. Keep in mind the internet is, still in their 30s. I think it was 95 totally. Around there somewhere.
A little younger than I.
Yeah, just a tad bit. So we have the ability to be online, which makes us global essentially. So instead of going one-to-one, we can go one-to-many, virtually at the touch of a button. So just for right now where we're at, that also has a kind of a hidden paradox. So we work with a bunch of business owners, and one of the things that's common among all of them is, I would say 99% of the time, except for someone like Randy, which has a gift in his own right, is once you utilize social media, the natural progression is video. So one of the things that we would love to have a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners use to stand out, especially right now, not only social media, but video. So I'm not sure if that answered your question.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing that I've actually personally seen is more people are watching, from their device, whether they're, looking at their notepad, their iPad, their computer, their phone. Most of it, they don't have to sit in the living room. A lot of times people get enjoyment watching their favorite 10-minute segment of YouTube on the toilet. I mean, just be honest, like, wow, this is great, So, but what that makes it's universal. So they can be any place, anytime, anywhere. And if you're a business and you want to be in that person's front of mind, so to speak, any place, anytime, anywhere, the best way for you to actually get in front of someone is actually
on the toilet.
Video. Yeah, on the toilet. Yeah, exactly, all the above, right? So I think the better meal people have, the more they can actually enjoy that segment. But so what are three things that people can do to get high quality content out there to their marketplace? Let's say they're a chiropractor, they're a restaurant owner, or if they're a landscaper. How can videos really help them and assist them in getting their business awareness out to the marketplace to let them know what they do?
Yeah, so before I answer that question, one of the things that you happen to bring up was you can sit on the toilet or wherever you're at, you can basically be at someone's side pretty much at the drop of a dime. So one of the differences, going back to your first question, was how is it different now than then? Is before, usually you have to be a large corporation, or if you're a smaller business owner, they put you in magazines or they try to get you on the radio. And usually you're broadcast to a large audience. There's no distinction on who sees it and who doesn't. It's basically, they call these impression or reach. So the more people that you reach, supposedly you're going to be getting more business. And that's the distinction between then and now, is with social media and having digital marketing in place, you can, if you decide to use paid ads, you can go directly to your community, your specific community, to housewives, to working class, to white collar office buildings. You can virtually go anywhere. But in addition to that, like when you're driving down the freeway and you see the billboard, let's say 1 million people pass by the billboard, right? You really can't distill or define who those people are. However, if you're on social media, you could only target, if you wanted to, specific type of people. And just as Randy said, whether you're on the toilet, whether you're in the shower, whether you're walking across the street, I mean, it kind of irks me sometimes when I see people on their phone crossing the street, and it's like, if you get your head up, you could get hit by a car. But the fact remains that when they're crossing the street, that could be you that they're looking at. That could be your information, your commercial, your video, your piece of content that they're consuming. So that's one of the things that I wanted to distill is if you guys follow anyone by the name of Gary Vaynerchuk, he talks about the democratization of social media, which basically means it's a level playing field that now we all have the ability to be on social media, to provide content, to be in front of your customer. So that's the difference between how it was before and how it is now. Which takes us to the question, what you talked about, the three things. So one of them, first and foremost, is just having a presence online. A lot of times people will just look online just to see if you even exist. Regardless if you're a multi-million-dollar company, regardless if you have ties in the community, the first thing usually people do is look online to see if you have a website, a social media presence by default. So the first thing I would say is just one, show up. The second thing that particularly has to do with video, one of the things we talk about is know, like, and trust. Virtually everybody wants to work with somebody that they know, like, and trust. And aside from being in front of someone that you could choke them or shake their hand, just being physical that you can touch them, the second best way is through video. Now we come across a bunch of businesses on a daily basis, and we see their websites and their marketing. And one of the hands down biggest mistakes they make is not being themselves. So they'll have a website, and then you look into our About Us page or who they're working with, and the business owner doesn't even exist. There's like some static picture that they got off of the internet that they paid for or maybe even swiped, and it doesn't even show who the business owner is. That's a huge, huge mistake. One of the common things that we see here is not only a majority of the businesses that are getting funded, we are all in the same realm, meaning we are small business owners. We're under millions of dollars. So what that means to us is we are fighting, or we're going against someone in our industry that's like, let me give you an example. We've done some recent interviews with gym owners and restaurant owners, and one of the common themes is, how do you compete with a 24-hour fitness, with a McDonald's? How do you compete with a large corporate entity that has so much money that's just putting out commercials, social media content? How do you compete with that? Well, the answer is just video. We are still people that are in our communities, and the mistake that we see is just not turning on the video, the iPhone, and you don't need like some special cameras or any kind of film equipment. Look, everybody has a video, a camera on their phone right now that they could turn it right now and just be like, hey, how you doing? My name is so-and-so. So I'd say off the toilet.
No, hey, you're surely gonna get a lot of hits if you get that. That's a tip, guys. I want someone to test that, okay?
Yeah, and that's a perfect example. Is I'm pretty sure that you've seen viral episodes of things on YouTube where people are on the toilet. Matter of fact, there's a gentleman in the real estate industry he's a realtor, but he also has like a family vlog on YouTube, and his wife took all of the toilet paper out of the bathroom, but before she did that, she put some like X-Lax in his beverage. So he's sitting on the toilet, he goes and he's looking for the toilet paper, and there's no toilet paper. So even at that, just like Randy said, test it. Nothing is off the table. We are essentially in reality TV. We're all a part of it. So
kind of like the Wild Wild West. So one of the things I know we have in your thing right here, effective marketing. Effective, I believe, is if they remember you, they like you, and they'll tell somebody about you. Just kind of like if somebody's writing a story of your life. So I think one of the biggest things, if we look at, I mean, gosh, it's been around for years, Super Bowl ads, right? Why people, I mean, congratulations to Kansas City and the 49ers for making this year's Super Bowl. But the reality is a lot of people who don't even know anything about football will watch the Super Bowl specifically for the commercials. And if it's one that stands out, in other words, it does something different than the norm or has a great story to it, they're going to say, hey, did you see that X commercial? Or did you see that other commercial? Did you see that whatever commercial? So how can somebody take that same presence and not spend, $3 million on a 30-second commercial? Because virtually YouTube, I mean, is pretty much, you stick it up there, you can even do it for free. How can somebody be super effective if they want to be hyper focused on what they're doing, their message, to get it out there? So should it be entertaining? Should it be serious? Should it be facts? Should it be, what should it be to be effective?
Wow, that's a fantastic question. So I would say this in different areas. So this is going to possibly be reaching a multitude of business owners in a spectrum of different areas on where they're at in terms of marketing ad spend, in terms of business revenue. So I would say if you're like a solo business owner, the single most important part that I would say is just get on video. First and foremost, just start utilizing video. Why did you start your business? Why is that important to you? What matters to you? Why is it a challenge, or why is it a crusade that you're doing what you're doing? Why is that important? Because when people walk into your establishment or they do business with you, they want to walk in and see that person and know that, even though you might have a stutter or you're not as tall as you want to be or whatever the case is, that you're honest and you're authentic. So first and foremost, if you're like by yourself and you're just doing it yourself, I would say just jump on video. Be yourself, do an introduction. What's your about us? What's your why? If you have a marketing team, I would say as you progress a little bit more, just start documenting things. Things like, maybe not necessarily being on the toilet, but
I don't even know how we got this toilet so much. So yeah, if you're on the toilet, if you're not, but I just thought that's funny, Imagine somebody doing something that actually stands out. But go ahead.
Yeah, and yeah, we are talking about the toilet, but the thing that's so interesting is that the device that we have, the phone, is going everywhere.
Totally.
I constantly got to tell my boys to put your phone down, because when they go and get something from the kitchen, like to go eat, they're like this on the phone. When they go to the bathroom, we have a no phones in the bathroom, because we don't want to plug up the bathroom when they're just sitting there watching a video and they forget they're really supposed to be going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So it's funny that we're talking about that and making fun of it, but then at the same time, it's like, this is the reality that we're currently living in, which presents a huge opportunity for someone like us that are willing to be on camera, that are willing to spread their message. So for getting back to the people that have a little bit more marketing spend, or maybe a person that is a marketer on their payroll, I would say just document things. Like, for instance, one of the conversations we just had was with a business owner, and they're looking to get some funding. But one of the things that they didn't realize is that the banks a lot of times are looking at how they're spending their money. Or do they have money at the end of the month? Or are they have non-sufficient funds? Do they have regular income that's coming in from their business, or does it come in increments of 3 months? Those are all things that we look at and that we can document, but necessarily some people watching it might not really think anything behind the scenes about funding a business or about what their business actually needs. A lot of times the business owners they're just like, I need money and I need it yesterday. And it's like, oh, we'll hold time out. The process of you needing money, your whole history impacts that. So the reason why the documentation is important, maybe you have the same thing. Someone coming into the gym and they're saying, hey, I want to lose 30 pounds because I have a wedding coming up next month. And it's like, okay, well, you have to change things in order to, like, sometimes people are really unrealistic. And I know that you guys have problem customers or customers that are unrealistic in their expectations, but they want results like yesterday and they want them really fast. So those kind of things and the problems or issues that happen during your business, put them on video, like address them. Maybe they might be a rant. Maybe they might be something that solidifies your position in the marketplace. Just get used to being on video. One of the things, whether you have a budget or whether you don't have a budget, that is the biggest quality that I've seen is just getting in front of video. Just turning on the video and making it something repetitive that you're doing all the time. Because keep in mind, just whether it's your own behavior or you go to Starbucks or anywhere you go, this is one thing that everybody's doing, like this. So if you count how much content, I mean, we're talking about thousands and thousands of pieces of content that are popping up. So if you want to be in at least one of those thousands, it's necessary to at least be on video.
Right. You know, I was thinking about that too, because we're talking about not only be on video, but be effective. And remember that old saying that you never get a second chance to make a first impression? What if I was just thinking about this? What if it doesn't matter if you're a restaurant, you're a gym owner, you're a personal trainer, you're a landscaper, you're a chiropractor? What if you said, hey, listen, let's say a restaurant owner, for instance, one of the first things somebody inquires about the restaurant, hey, why don't you come in on us? If you allow us just to video your first experience, we're going to take care of your first meal. What that's going to do, number one, it's one meal, but imagine to see not only from an internal perspective what they actually witness, but it also gives the audience the chance to see, hey, this is how they take care of us. Or even a personal trainer, hey, come in for your sessions, but your first session is going to be free if you allow me to film you. So that first personal trainer that's trying to gather clients, now they're going to show people, hey, listen, this is John. We've never met before. He's coming in for his first training session. We're going to take you from start to finish and show you what I do, how I work with them, and then you're going to get a real life perspective on his experience and how we worked it out and how he feels. I mean, think about that. Any business, a chiropractor, a dentist, that'll be a good one. But just everybody can get that thing up and running with just using their own personality, make it real, don't have to script it, but at the same time, you'll give them a reality and experience that most people say, hey, I remember when I went to the dentist first time. I remember that sound that's like, and turn around and they walk out. But I think, you know, if they're really effective, you've got to be in an area, sit down for a few minutes and be creative. How can we be creative? How can we do something that people can relate to? Because people are going to relate to stories. That's how they get tuned in, or they want to know the answer to something. How does it become entertaining? How does it become relatable? But more importantly, how it becomes effective for their own. What are they trying to do? What's that light at the end of the rainbow that they're trying to accomplish? So I just think the effectiveness starts to be transparent. You know, so it's congruent with who they are, but at the same time, it gives a person a chance to be what? Quote unquote entertained, because that's what everyone's on the phone for, because everyone has a certain attention span, right? Mm-hmm. How can you capture that person's attention span in the first 3 to 5 seconds? Mm-hmm. How can you before not, like I do it too, if it's like next, next, or you know, it's same thing, you know. So really I think for people to be outstanding, they got to stand out in a way that captures the audience's attention effectively, but also it can be relatable in a story format, so to speak. But you're right. You know, we're in the wild, wild west right now. Pop out your phone if you're starting a business or if you're already in business. When was the last time you've done a video for your business? When was the last time you interviewed a client for your business? Mm-hmm. When was the last time you interviewed a staff member from your business? When was the last time you interviewed a community leader and had your face on it for the business? I think people are so caught up about their looks because, you know, people on Instagram, you've got all these filters that just be your freaking self, folks. You know, just I think that's so much how everyone's turning to, like, I've got to have the perfect makeup, the perfect hair, the perfect shirt. I mean, we've got whatever workout clothes on. You know, we're just having a great time. So, but the reality is, it's the effectiveness, but just freaking do it, right? At the end of the day, you know.
And I would say Randy also gave you kind of an insider tip. What he's talking about is you're either going to pay with your time in doing video, which the number one quality is consistency in doing video. It's cheap, but you have to still pick it up and do it. Or you're going to pay with money, which is something that we specialize in, which is paid advertising. You can have somebody do it for you, but you are still going to pay one way or the other. You're going to pay in your time doing it yourself, or you're going to pay with money. Now, what he did was give you a gold little tip there was, if you go on Instagram and you type in, like, let's say your location, let's say it's Vista, Oceanside, San Diego, you type in your location and you see people that are influencers that have a lot of people that are following them, you can do exactly what he said. You can invite them to your gym. You can invite them to your restaurant, your place of business, and say, hey, I would like to give you a free chiropractic adjustment. All you got to do is film it, and that will go out, and that's putting in the work. It's free, but you are going to reach a bunch of people that are basically going to see, hey, I like this business. I like what you're doing. If you're not whatsoever comfortable getting on camera, I often tell business owners, and trust me, it really doesn't matter your level of education, because usually if you're a doctor, all the way to regular average Joes, it really makes no difference. When you turn on the camera, everybody usually just kind of either falls back or they get a little bit scared. And my response is always this: your selfishness in terms of how you look and how you're being perceived on camera is directly impacting your revenue. So instead of you being saying, you know what, I'm just going to do it no matter what. I want to help more people and I want to make more money ethically and sharing my message. A lot of times they'll be like, oh, I don't look good on camera and my voice looks like this and my hair's kind of messed up today. I'm actually having a fantastic hair day today, but they get so wrapped up in the fact that it's about them, when it's not just about them. It's about helping their customer, helping their client, about doing the service that you were initially started off to. So if you are scared to be on camera, one of the things that Randy said is, if you do nothing else, get on camera and just get your phone and ask your client, your past client, whether it's a meal or your chiropractic adjustment, your dentist, whatever it is, ask them, how do we treat you today? How is it going today? Start accumulating those video testimonials, and those will speak volumes for your business.
Awesome. Now, the effectiveness of someone actually getting started. Let's say somebody's starting off and they're not, seasoned or whatnot. What should they do? Take out a piece of paper? What are things they can write down on what they got to do? Is there certain times they should post? Is there certain things on how to be really effective with that? Especially if it takes 30 seconds. Guys, you can do anything for 30 seconds. Seriously, you can hold your breath for 30 seconds, hopefully. I mean, seriously. But if that's what it takes, then whatever it takes, right? At the end of the day, it's your when we're extracting mind to mind, we're getting gold nuggets out. How can we help you guys? How can we help, everyone that's watching this information? So I'm thinking, if somebody who's starting off, what can they do to get this ball running, so to speak? If you don't not really good and figure out that you can't get the camera working, you probably have an 8-year-old nephew, niece, son, daughter, granddaughter, neighbor that says, hey, can you press the little record button for me? And then when I'm done 30 seconds later, hit stop. I think that's a great start. You don't got to get it right, just got to get it going, I believe. Yeah. So, yeah. What's the effectiveness of somebody actually really putting down like a checklist is what I was saying about, what should I do first? What should I do second? What should I do third? And then execute, because at the end of the day, with that execution, it's just stagnation.
Yeah. I would say, depending on if you're on social media, first and foremost, are you committed to helping more people and making more money in your business? I guess it really starts with the mind. Are you making this declaration that this is something that you want to do, and that putting yourself out there could help more people? If that's the case, then I would immediately start with video testimonials. If you're like starting from scratch, start with one a week. Any customer that comes in, hey, I just wanted to ask you, would it be okay if you shared your experience with us just real quick, just 30 seconds? If you're uncomfortable with that, start with the video testimonials, because you're really not videotaping yourself or recording yourself. You're recording someone else. So at least you could get comfortable. At least start with that once a week. After that, put down a list of things that are important to you. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. Real estate, like we said, the gym and chiropractic adjustments and dentistry. It doesn't matter what industry. You are an expert in your field, so lay out 3 different mistakes. What mistakes is the industry making? What mistakes do people that are taking advantage of other people within your industry, what should they look out for? And teach that over video. Tell them not only your story, but teach them why that's important. Because here's the thing, whether they do work with you or whether they don't work with you, you're still putting yourself out there, and you're still kind of, even though it's kind of like woo-foo, whatever, you're still bringing good karma to yourself, because you're giving them good information. And if they work with you, assuming that you're a person of integrity and morality, that you would help them as far as information. And by default, a lot of times it will gravitate towards you because you're giving good information. So I would just start, just going back to your question, start with the video testimonials of your clients. When you feel comfortable, talk about yourself. If you're gung-ho, I would lay out just a content calendar. At least, you know, if you can get one video a week, then do 2 videos a week. If, like the first one that I gave you, video testimonials, you're sourcing it from other people, so it's not really coming from you. Right. You just got to allocate the time in your mind that you're going to say, hey, can you tell me a couple things about our business?
Yeah. So, yeah. And I highly recommend, if they say this is the worst business I've ever seen, don't use that one.
Don't use that at all.
I mean, you could, you know. I don't think bad publicity is, you know, really bad publicity, but I'm just saying, starting off, just get a couple of good ones in there.
And even at that, you mentioned that's also an awesome opportunity to take that and wrap it up and say, you know what, I apologize. I don't know what happened.
You're right.
We're sorry for what we did. You know what, how can we fix this? It's another opportunity to learn. And if you wanted to utilize that information and still put it out there and use that as a case study,
I think that'll be effective, because people say, well, these people are transparent and they're looking to improve. I mean, everyone can, again, back to the entertainment, but also the relatability, like, oh, shoot, they screwed up. They're human too. Mm-hmm. They've tripped on their own shoe. They've ran into a wall. They stubbed their toe on the corner of a desk before too. Yep. Wow, they're human, you know?
Exactly.
So, yeah, I think that's really, really powerful to let people know that it's okay to, you know, screw up a video, because hopefully it's not going to be your last video. Hopefully you're going to do it again and again and again, and then through time and effort, it's going to progress to be something like a masterpiece where people can get on there and just flow and go, and before you know it, they have real magic actually come out. So
here's something that ties into that. Once again, keep in mind, and I don't want to discourage anyone, because this has to be something that you're committed to and you're willing to keep on putting in the effort. But let's say you do screw up. Let's say you cuss, and let's say you just bomb the whole thing. Guess what? We're doing this again. The chances of them actually seeing it are slim to none. Yeah. No one's going to see it, and you're your own critic. In your mind, you're going to echo, oh my gosh, I messed up. But a majority of people are going like this at least 20 times an hour. Yeah. So it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely. So cool. I think we've given, you know, some good, valuable nuggets where people could actually take and say, okay, I'm going to be an effective marketing. What I got to do? I can do YouTube videos. I can do paid ads. I can do just regular ads. I can just be in the moment. If you have a thought or an idea, be transparent with it. If they're looking to get a new customers, if they're starting off, say, hey, I'll give you your first, like, personal trainer, your first session if you allow me to videotape the experience. It'll be good for you. It'll be great for me, and it'll be great for somebody in the audience to really get them out of, you know, obscurity, so to speak. So, any last things you want to cover with everyone before we know we got some other meetings going on? So
yeah. There's quite a few things that we could cover. This is kind of just an intro of what's going to be coming.
We're going to definitely do more of these as well as far as marketing, but definitely.
Yeah. So if you guys are interested, or you have any questions regarding marketing, how to get more clients into your business, that's something not only that we specialize in as far as the funding and lending of business owners to get them capital in their business, but also marketing. How do we get more clients into our doors? How do we convert them better? That's something that we specialize in. So any questions that you guys have, we are definitely here for you. We can take you from not having any or relatively few customers to how do we optimize them, how do we bring more in, and how can we do it effectively and make more money at the same time. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you post them below. Definitely reach out to us, let us know.
Yeah, we'll have a link down there so you can actually click on it, and then even set a time just to do like a 30-minute or 20-minute consultation on what can we do to actually get more fluidity within your business and organization to get it out to the marketplace on a larger scale. So awesome, man. And then we'll do more of these to actually break down specific things. We just want to cover some little tips that I think I've been hearing a lot for people, like, I want to get out there 2020 next decade. Well, what do I do? Yep. So the last 10 years is not the same. So awesome.
I agree.
Well, thanks, brother, for coming out, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate you spending some time away from doing your marketing stuff with the company. But definitely, guys, we want to make sure that you guys really stay tuned. We've got some exciting thing that's in the works for every one of you guys. So make sure that you basically set out some time and watch this information. Or if you know if somebody could actually get value out of it, this information, send them the link, like it, share it, do whatever you got to do to make sure they get this valuable information. So without further ado, I want you guys to all live with fulfillment, serve with passion, and so this lifetime you have the ability to leave this world with no regrets. Until next time on Mind the Mind, God bless.